weren't impressed than anticipated. KSI Logan Paul, more than anticipated, but maybe not quite as many as I secretly dreamed of, but still really solid. I mean, I keep pushing DAZN to release their numbers because they're really impressive now. There was a stage when we started where they weren't impressive because we came from a standing start. It's just their policy not to do it, but I don't mind saying, and I'll probably get told off, but over those 3 fights, Canelo Kovalev, KSI Logan Paul and Joshua Ruiz, you're driving to 1 million subscribers. And that's a phenomenal number. And the viewership number for Joshua against Ruiz was, oh man, I don't know, nearly 3 times bigger than the biggest audience Joshua ever got on Showtime. You know, as a world champion.
Worldwide, I think it was 1.6, 1.7
more,
million.
yeah, but even in America,
like
you know, approaching 1 million audience. So that's a huge number. And one of the problems we had in recruiting fighters in the early days was, oh, no one's watching DAZN. They are. More people are watching DAZN. We're getting bigger audience numbers than Showtime, right? Charlo's just boxed on Showtime, did 300,000. You've got Jacob Chavez, is going to do 500,000-600,000 on DAZN. You know, Joshua did nearly 1 million on DAZN. So, like, we need to let the people know, because that argument about, oh, you're losing your profile or lack of profile, it's rubbish now. So it's another tick on the box, and we're just getting a better understanding of, 1, the US market, 2, getting our foot in the door a lot more with fighters, but 3, understanding the subscription business. But when you've got a product you believe in, and I so believe in the DAZN product in terms of the value for a fight fan, for particularly the annual pass, I'm actually going to say to DAZN, I think you should bump the monthly fee up, right? We've got to drive people to the annual pass. It's $19.99 a month. Make it $50 a month. We don't want you to come and go. We want you to stay, be part of this community, learn more about boxing, digest the content, learn about the fighters, and grow with us.
We unpack. We unpack. We unpack. Coming to you live, Boxing Ego Unpack. Yeah. We unpack. We unpack. We unpack. Coming to you live. Well, there you guys heard it. Eddie Hearn says that he wants DAZN, and he's going to suggest to DAZN that they raise the monthly price to $50 a month to pigeonhole fans into going and leaning towards the annual pass, because they don't want people to come and go. What up, Fight World? It's your boy Ego, and I'm back with some more boxing. Make sure you smash the like button. Also, subscribe to the channel for the latest and greatest in boxing. If you want to become part of the gang, notification gang, please hit the bell icon. Shout out to the super chats, channel donations. And you guys went crazy on the super chats. The channel donations, the Venmo donations, the Patreon, the Cash App. We working. Sign up for ESPN Plus below using my link. It definitely helps the channel. Once again, shout out to the super chats. It's the first day of the year. First of the month, get up. Now see, my sister was already there. She gonna run and go get me. And you guys showed out. I did a live stream, and the super chats were brazy. Listen, you guys heard the beginning. Eddie Hearn says he wants DAZN, and he's gonna suggest that DAZN raises the price to $50 a month. Current price is $19.99. Some people are still, quote unquote, grandfathered in, which is coming to an end March through May. That was already announced by DAZN, that they were only honoring that price for another year. So everybody's going to be at least on the $19.99 price point sometime this year. And now they might do another price hike. Listen, Eddie Hearn, in this, you heard it. Eddie Hearn, the link in the description as well, so you can listen to the whole full interview. He's bragging. I just can't believe what Eddie Hearn is saying. There's no way to sweeten it. I can't believe a lot of what he says. He just said in the excerpt that DAZN is doing great numbers, and he wants them to release their numbers, but they won't do it because it's not their thing. I mean, that's BS. If you're trying to attract fighters to a platform and you're doing these phenomenal numbers, then how come you wouldn't release the numbers to the public and encourage more? Wouldn't that encourage more consumers and patrons to possibly get DAZN, because you see it's so popping and it's doing great? Wouldn't it attract fighters? Because, oh, hey, if I signed a DAZN, you know, the guys that are not with DAZN that Eddie Hearn has tried to recruit, like Wilder or whoever. Wouldn't that attract people? Like, man, I could do better numbers and get more visibility on DAZN if they're doing such great numbers. The other thing that Eddie Hearn is not telling, which I've already showed and displayed in live streams, and nobody seems to, DAZN is, this podcast was from a DAZN worker. So again, I'm not looking forward to hearing nothing objective. New media, we control the narrative. So let me tell you, one thing that Eddie Hearn is not saying is DAZN is available currently in 9 markets. 8 of those 9 markets offer a 30-day free trial still. They have markets like Switzerland, Japan, Italy, Canada, etc., etc. And 8, again, they're available in 9 markets. 8 of those 9 markets offer a free 30-day trial. So as long as you have a fresh email and you're a new user, a potential user to DAZN platform, you could sign up for that. So that, to me, the numbers don't come out, but the numbers are hinted at. I can't take those numbers seriously because those are not paid viewers. It's like, let's say Deontay Wilder is fighting against Luis King Kong Ortiz and he's fighting on Fox pay-per-view. The numbers that come out are about people who legally purchased the pay-per-view. When it says 300,000, 325,000, those are the legal people who paid on Fox pay-per-view. That's not encompassing people who were streaming the fight on Periscope or Facebook or Instagram Live and illegal views. Now, DAZN having a free trial, there's nothing illegal about that. However, that is not dedicated subscribers who are paying. You need to see, if these numbers are so great, we need to see how many are paid subscriptions, like people who are content paying for DAZN. Because anything free, like I remember we used to have a Chick-fil-A in the mall, and I used to work in the mall. I walked by, they have free samples. They had someone in front of the Chick-fil-A restaurant and had a toothpick and all the pieces of chicken from Chick-fil-A cut up, and you could walk by and take 1 or 2. That's free. That's different between going into the Chick-fil-A. Like, the reason they're giving those free samples is to lure people in. Like, this chicken is good. I'm gonna come here on my lunch break, So if DAZN is saying that all these fights are doing these legendary numbers, then they should have a filtration system to let you know, since the US is the only market that no longer has a 30-day free trial, which is the main market for boxing. Romania and Italy and all these other places, they're not known for boxing. They haven't had fights like Mayweather-McGregor, Mayweather-Pacquiao, Canelo versus Mayweather, De La Hoya, Canelo Cotto, Canelo Golovkin. We know America's where it's at. So if the numbers are so good, they should be able to have a filtration system that explicitly removes non-paid subscribers because they don't really matter. Those are just potential hits. Like, for example, you guys, I have the ESPN affiliate link, right? It helps the channel. So a lot of people click on the link, and how many people can I convert to actually purchase ESPN through the link? Those are 2 different things. A potential buyer, it's like a realtor showing somebody a model home and they like it, but then their credit's bad, so they can't close escrow. Or they like the house, but then they find another house that they just absolutely adore for a better price. So showing somebody a model home or showing a potential home, that's just a potential client. So we would have to see, if DAZN is doing so great, we would have to see how many people that are paid subscriber, how much of this viewership. See, if you notice, they're trying to be slick. Old media is trying to be slick. Every time there's alleged numbers that come out for DAZN, it's all clusterfucked into one cesspool of numbers. It's like, over 9 markets, Andy Ruiz versus Anthony Joshua rematch did 1.8 million views, but it doesn't outline how many people were paying customers. Because if we're trying to compete with Wilder, like, okay, Wilder versus Ortiz 2, let's say it did 310,000, but that was 310,000 who paid $75 a pop. With DAZN, it's more than meets the eye. Some people are still under the $9.99 price point. Some people are paying $19.99. Some people are paying annual. But then again, 8 of the 9 markets have an offer currently, a 30-day free trial. So if 100,000 people in Spain watched the fight, but they watched it under a free trial, you're going to add that number to it to make it look like these are all people who had to pay for it to watch it. I mean, it's not the same thing. So that looks horrible. I don't believe what Eddie Hearn's saying. He says that Jacobs versus Chavez did 500, 600,000 and they're doing better numbers than Showtime. But again, if that's the case, why wouldn't DAZN release the numbers? It makes absolutely no sense. If you have a network, because HBO, they didn't stay in the boxing game. So Showtime outlasted HBO in terms of the boxing game. So Showtime has been around for, Mike Tyson was fighting on Showtime at a point in time. Pacquiao fought on Showtime before. So Showtime is it's been a long-standing network. And if you're trumping them, Eddie Hearn's constantly talking about other people's numbers, primarily PBC, but he always talks about other people's shows, even Top Rank. He says, oh, Terrence Crawford did this, and we sold more tickets for Daniel Jacobs versus Chavez Jr. than Crawford Mean Machine. This is what he's claiming. But why is Eddie Hearn so concerned with the competition if you're doing so great? It just really doesn't make sense. Beyond that, Crawford versus Mean Machine was a far better card and it was a far better fight. So people were left satisfied with Top Rank's closing the year card. However, DAZN closing the year with Jacobs versus Chavez, they created a riot and they were throwing beers and cans and shoes and litter into the ring because Chavez Jr. quit, and people were left with a sour taste in their mouth because the event ended abruptly because Chavez Jr. said no mas and refused for at least the second time of his career to continue fighting. Also did it in the Fanfare fight. So this is Eddie Hearn kind of crying for help. I don't believe what he's saying, and there's obvious reasons why I don't believe it. Now, the title of the video, if they raise the price to $50 a month, good luck to DAZN. I dare them, I double dog dare them to raise the price in America to $50 a month. He said he's going to tell DAZN. I want him to send a memo to DAZN ASAP, because I told you this. This is Ego Stradamus at his finest. I told you, when I'm up against it, when I'm pressured, this is where you see me do my cleanest work. This is where I look the sharpest. I told you that DAZN, the way it was currently looking, right, they were going to have to make some changes. And I said one of the changes would be things like layoffs. They had layoffs. DAZN had layoffs because I know someone that got laid off. And it's not just one person, right? And it was with their social media team in December around the holidays. This is what happens with businesses when they have to cut costs. The trial will go away. I told you that. I predicted that. In America, the trial went away. But those other places, the smaller places that they're not, as concerned with tapping into in the boxing world, they still have the free trial. And there are different economic systems and different things like that. Then I told you they will likely do a price increase. Now Eddie Hearn is talking about doing a price increase. If they raise the price to $50, that's ridiculous. Based on the matches that I've seen, I told you from the beginning when I predicted that there would probably be some type of price jump. I didn't even think it would necessarily be that quick, that soon, but they've been out a year and a half, whatever the case is, and they started off as a platform saying pay-per-view was dead, $9.99 a month, 30-day free trial, and now there's no 30-day free trial in America. It's no longer $9.99, and for everybody, it's going to be at least $19.99. And now you have Eddie Hearn saying he wants to take it from the $19.99, $20 a month. You add 1 cent to $50. So if you take it to $50, then that's more than double. So from $9.99 to $19.99, that's a 100% price hike. Now, if you double $19.99 times 2, you're looking at $40, and he's talking about $10 more than $40. Not a good look, absolutely not a good look. And you look at places like Netflix, they've definitely over the years went up in price. Like it might have been $7.99, $8.99, $9.99. Now it's about $13.99. But the biggest difference with Netflix is you have Netflix originals. They have Netflix documentaries, Netflix, shows like Narcos and Witcher. They have a whole production studio. They're putting out movies with Robert De Niro, classic actor, Martin Scorsese directed, The Irishman, Joe Pesci in it, Al Pacino, Harvey Keitel, right? So that becomes something different because you're putting the Irishman, I think, costs like $180 million to make. And they also have a movie with Ryan Reynolds called Six Underground, cost $150 million roughly to make. They have a pretty big budget movie with Ben Affleck on there. So you have a price hike for sure with Netflix, but they've been around since 1996. Quiet as kept. They've been around because they even tried to get a deal with Blockbuster, but Blockbuster laughed them out of the room, and Netflix obviously got the last laugh. So it's been a more incremental thing where they went up a couple dollars per month because they have such a huge subscriber base that if they tax people $2-3, add $2-3 a month to the price across the huge subscriber base that they truly have that are loyal fans, then they make their money. DAZN is from $9.99 to $50. That is literally 5x the price. So there's no way they have a consistent subscriber base that is good if you have to inflate your prices like that. I mean, this is just repulsive and it's egregious, and it shows you that it's failing because Disney Plus just came out and they had like 17 million, 40 million downloads or something in a day, and it was $6.99 a pop per month. Or you can save a little bit of money and you can get the annual package, which is what I did. But the annual package, if you break it down over the course of 12 months, you're only saving $1.17 per month from what you would be paying. And that's how you normally see. That's what you normally see. You don't see $50 a month or you pay $140, where you get this huge price break. I mean, this is like a Ponzi scheme. You're trying to force people. If they raise the price to 50, 20 is already bad enough. But if they raise it to 50, it's just ridiculous because that would be $600 per year. 50 times 12 months in a year, that'd be $600 a year for DAZN unless you do an annual. So that's like extortion. Like you're trying to force the customer to buy the annual package, which would be the only way you would get a remotely decent savings, and you would prevent people from opting in and opting out. So business can't be good. There's no way it could be good if you have to strong arm the public like that and tell people, hey, we don't want you to come and go. We want, what I'm saying? You don't see Amazon Prime doing that. You don't see Amazon Prime having like this ridiculous monthly rate unless you do the annual package. In fact, I don't like recurring things out of my account all the time. So with stuff I know I'm gonna use, like Amazon, which I use routinely for my business, I paid for it annually. But I would say out of all my friends and family and people I know, they actually have Amazon monthly. They rather pay the monthly. But for me, if I got it like that, and again, I know I'm gonna get my money's worth, and it's a trusted service that I've had for years or whatever, and I can enjoy the values and the perks of the 2-day shipping, 1-day shipping. It helps me on my business trips and things like that, covering these fights. I just pay the annual. But I would say more people I know have the monthly rather than do what I do, which is pay annually. So a lot of people like the comfort of a monthly payment. So DAZN is making it, if it's $50 a month, that's like a gym membership. It's like a phone plan or something. And I told you, the more DAZN raises their price, the more they go away from what they came in the game saying, which was pay-per-view is dead. This looks absolutely egregious if they go up to a price point. If they go up any more from $19.99, if it's $24.99, if it's $29.99, $39.99, $50, $100, anything, if you increase it again, then it shows me that you're failing. And it shows me that you didn't think this through and people are opting in and out. Like, oh, okay, Canelo's fighting. I'll buy it for that 1 month and cancel. and you can't figure a way into the American market. So you have to strong arm people and force them, pigeonhole them into getting an annual subscription because you're tired of people using you for one good fight in a month and then canceling. You know, so it's going to be a bad look. $600 annually. If you like, for example, if it's $50 a month and you didn't do the annual package because you weren't sure and you just let it run on your credit card, that would be $600 a month. I mean, $600 a year, excuse me. That's insane. And what's the difference between pay-per-view at that point? You can watch Wilder Fury for $75-$80, or you can watch Jesse Vargas and who's he fight? Mikey Garcia. Or you can watch this Miami card with a YouTuber and headlined by Demetrius Andrade, Lucas Keeler, and Jaime Munguia versus Gary Spike O'Sullivan, who's one fight removed from being knocked out by David Lemieux in the month of January, if they were to enact this $50. I mean, it's just, first of all, like I said, raising prices, it happens. Inflation, it happens. But it usually happens with an increase in quality or demand. You know, like, let's say you had a seafood place and the seafood is shipped from a place, so you have to have some trucking company and it's becoming more scarce, or the price goes up from your supplier. Okay, then now you got to tax the customers at your restaurant a little bit more. But the food is good. You know, DAZN hasn't really upped their quality. The fights that they're announcing or talking about, Usyk and Chisora, AJ versus Pulev, you know, fights that have been announced, like Mikey Garcia coming off of a loss and a year layoff, and fighting Jesse Vargas, who said he was moving up to 50, tried to fight Jaime Munguia, but that fight fell apart. Fights being canceled. I mean, you just can't justify it. All the fights that got canceled because of drug test fails, injuries, pullouts, whatever the case may be, whatever you have last year, imagine paying $50. It's not gonna make sense. Like, for a pay-per-view, Conor McGregor versus Donald Cowboy Cerrone. Again, use my link in the description. It helps the channel. They're fighting in January. Conor's headed to Vegas soon. If we get wind that someone failed a drug test or somebody got injured and pulled out, then we don't have to buy the pay-per-view. You know, it's similar to when Conor McGregor was supposed to fight against Chad Mendes, or excuse me, he was supposed to fight against Jose Aldo. He pulled out with injury, so they replaced it with Chad Mendes. So from that point, you know, before the event, hey, he's not fighting the intended guy. So you can decide if you want to get Conor McGregor card with Chad Mendes as a replacement, right? Same thing with Conor McGregor. He was supposed to fight RDA, and then he pulled out. They replaced him with Nate Diaz at 170. So you have, with the pay-per-view, the option to decide, hey, I still want to watch it, or this is a better fight, or I was looking for the RDA fight, now I don't want to see this. But it's going to be a lot worse if you, let's say Canelo's supposed to fight in May, and you spend $50, and then Canelo's opponent failed a drug test, or he pulled out with the injury last minute. So you've already paid $50. You get what I'm saying? So it makes mishaps and unfortunate things and misfortunes that happen throughout boxing, injuries, drug test fails, whatever happens in combat sports, these inconveniences are tenfold. Everything is now under a microscope, if you will. So like what happened with the Chavez Jr. fight, he quit. I mean, imagine if you paid $50 for that. So I want to see them do what Eddie Hearn is saying. I dare them to put it up to $50. We gonna see. It's clear they don't understand the American market. This is not the UK, and all these like cards with non-American feels, like Monte Carlo cards and stuff that Eddie Hearn has. Ryan Garcia is fighting. His fight just got announced. He's fighting someone that Gervonta Tank Davis knocked out on the Mayweather-McGregor card in 2017, and he later lost to Tevin Farmer. This was at 130. Now the guy's moving up to 35, which he has some fights, but not big name fights at 135, and he's fighting Ryan Garcia. I mean, is that worth $50? Especially when the undercards aren't loaded and packed. So I hope Eddie Hearn was just joking when he said that this was gonna potentially be $50 a month, because that it's just, you're no different than pay-per-view, period. And all the people, old media, the fans, they said, oh yeah, would you rather pay $120 for a year or $80 for Wilder and Ortiz too? So if the price is 5x what it came in the game as, more than double what it grew to, and they hiked the price up to $50 a month, I mean, you're no different than pay-per-view. You're really not. With a $30 savings, $25 savings, I mean, come on, get real. And especially if you don't have no blockbuster fights. So you could watch Wilder versus Fury 2 for probably $75, $85 or whatever. Or you could get Jesse Vargas versus Mikey Garcia and some YouTube fights and things like that for $50 a month. 2 months, that's $100. Come on. Ego Stradamus strikes again. We Unpack coming to you live. Let me know what you guys think. You heard it from the horse's mouth. I had to unpack this. I hope DAZN is not reaching there, because again, everything was a scam. This was a sham. If they came in the game saying pay-per-view is dead, pay-per-view is dead, they ain't said it in a while. And maybe this is why. Because if they grow in price again, then like I've been telling you, this is going to put them in line closer to what pay-per-views do. You know, it becomes too much to pay for. YouTube, they have YouTube Red, Amazon Prime, Netflix, Hulu, Disney Plus came out, Apple Plus came out, TV. You know, it just becomes a lot for a consumer in America. And it's even worse because DAZN seems to have the same type of fights. Like the biggest fights on DAZN never happened. The fights we wanted to see, like they couldn't get Wilder over there to fight against AJ. They didn't make Luis Ortiz versus AJ. They didn't make Tevin Farmer versus Tank Davis. They can't get Charlo versus Canelo. They didn't make Charlo versus Triple G. They're not even making Triple G versus Andrade, guy who's already over there. Canelo versus Andrade, a guy who's already over there. They're not doing Triple G versus Derevyanchenko, which was a good first fight, unexpectedly to a lot of people. You know, make the immediate rematch. They're talking about Triple G versus mandatory. It's convenient that Eddie Hearn, all of his fighters have mandatories that nobody wants to see. And you're going to even think or suggest that you can put a price point of $50. Good luck with that. Let me know what you guys think. If you love what I'm doing, smash the like button, send me a donation, whatever you guys want to do. It's 2020 and I see it clear like 2020. My vision is clear. Drop your thoughts in the comment section. We unpack. So if you enjoyed this video and want more content like this on the channel, you can show your appreciation by going to the PayPal donate button or the YouTube support button, and you can donate any amount that you feel is equivalent to the value of this video. Much more to come. Thank you guys for your support. Boxing Ego, the future of boxing.